This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The DRC Learning Net will start in 5 minutes. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off. W0TX repeater.
good evening and welcome. This is K1DBC, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. That is Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. I am net control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net tonight. This is a directed net for the purpose of connecting amateurs seeking help or advice with Elmers willing to mentor. This net meets every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on the W0TX repeaters with frequencies 145.490. It's linked with 448.625. Both have a negative offset and a tone of 100. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? For recognition by net control, please use your call sign. Everyone is welcome. This is an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. If you have any questions for the Learning Net and don't yet have your license or otherwise wish to contact the net, you may do so via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com, at hamlearningnet@groups.io, and on youtube.com/WEREGR8. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo. AA 0 JK Fred in Arvada. Good evening.
All right, good evening. I'd like to welcome to knowledge the following Elmers. AA 0 JK Fred, thank you for checking in. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the number, or excuse me, the letter after the number in your call sign. Please use, if you can, ITU phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic or question for Elmers as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo with a question. This is Lanier in Inglewood.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha.
Kilo 0 Echo Hotel Romeo Mark in Littleton, no traffic.
W0 Fox Charlie in Lone Tree, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Charlie Uniform Charlie Andrew Collins Ranch, no traffic.
Kilo 6 Hotel, Juliet Victor, Tom, Arvada, no traffic. Whiskey David 0, Charlie India, Victoria, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo Rich in Arvada. No traffic.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome to knowledge of the following check-ins.
Kilo
Foxtrot 0 Delta Lima Whiskey Daniel in Aurora.
Correction, drone.
Kilo Echo 0 Uniform Sierra Sierra Doug in Aurora.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Let's just hold up there for just a moment. Okay, Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. K0LPR Linear with a question. KF0AFQ Troy. Your signal was a little bit weak this evening, but I did get you there. K0EHR Mark. WD0FFC Jerry. KF0CUC Andrew. K6HJV Tom. WD0CIV Charles. WD0DOK Rich, KF0DLW Daniel, and KE0USS Doug. Thank you all for checking in.
Correction.
Yeah, go ahead with the correction.
Yeah, drone, it's WD6 DOK. I know I'm in a foreign land, but anyway, so back to you.
Gotcha. Sorry about that. WD6DOK, Rich. Yeah, get jumbled up with some of these call signs. Thanks for correcting, though.
Correction?
Yeah, go ahead with another correction there.
It's W0 Fox Fox Charlie, not WD0 Fox Fox Charlie.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I got you corrected there on your call sign, Jerry. W0 Fox Fox Charlie. Thanks again for the correction. Any other corrections or any other check-ins, Alpha through Mike, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian Wheatridge.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, and that time we had KF0AWC Brian. Thank you for checking in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you'd like to check in, we'll go ahead and take all calls, all call suffixes, Alpha through Zulu, A through Z. Please check in now with your name and your call sign.
Kilo 0 Yankee Echo Sierra 10 in Broomfield.
November 0 Tango Romeo Papa Jim in Lakewood.
Whiskey 4 Papa Romeo Golf W4PRG Newell and Thornton.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: K0YES Ken, N0TRP Jim, and W4PRG Newell. Thank you all for checking in. Again, we're taking all calls, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Again, if you don't have a call sign, you can check in online. Again, youtube.com. If you search for W0TX, you can see a live stream now, or it's youtube.com/WEREGR8. Or even if you are licensed and out of state, you can check in there as well. But again, we'll take all calls, A through Z, over the air. Please call now. Let us know your name, call sign, and if you have any traffic. Please call now. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll offer some opportunities throughout the net to check in, but don't hesitate to check in at any given point. That is just fine. With that, though, I'll go ahead and throw it over to Lanier, K0LPR, with a question. Go ahead.
K0LPR. What is the likelihood a repeater gets hit by a lightning strike? And what does a repeater cost? And does it require a lot of maintenance? Back to net, K0LPR.
A0JK.
Great questions there. The likelihood that it'll be struck by lightning, and then the cost, and then all that other stuff there. Great question there, LPR. AA0JK Fred, go ahead.
AA0JK. Hello, Lanier. Good to hear you in there here this evening. And they are expensive and do require maintenance on a regular basis, as Jerry would tell you. He would be the one to be able to answer those questions in more precisely. And I know that during a lot of the activity that goes on up there, you'll hear them chattering here on the frequencies here as they are working up there. But we've got quite a team, and a lot of kudos needs to go their way for all the work that they and time that they put in installing and maintaining those repeaters so that we can use them here. So they probably don't hear that the voice of thank you anywhere near often enough to express our gratitude for all of the work and energy that they put into maintaining and keeping those up and running. And I guess they keep those towers well grounded. Of course, we are hitchhiking on most of those. Other facilities provide those towers for the most part, and we, amongst other groups, use those facilities to operate our repeater links. So for any further entailed information, I'm quite sure that Jerry would be able to fill us in on that. But I don't know, they probably got another meeting going on at this time. But we'll have to quiz him on that in the future, Lanier. Good question. AA0JK, back to net control.
Comment.
Thanks there for the follow-up there, Fred, AA0JK. Yeah, comment, K0LPR, go ahead.
Well, is the damage caused by lightning strikes or just mechanical failure? Back to net, K0LPR.
A0JK.
Yeah, A0JK, go ahead.
Yeah, Lanier. Here just recently, they had to replace some equipment that has been causing problems, and they've had to go up there and work on several times in the past. They finally got tired of putting up with it, and I think they installed a new unit. But some of that equipment we have gotten many, many years of service out of up there in some of those repeaters. And but when it does come time to have to replace it, it is quite expensive and takes a bit of a bite out of our club dues that we put into the club each year. So yeah, that would be an interesting subject to have Jerry respond to. So those lightning strikes, I haven't actually heard of any reports as such as of any of those towers having gotten struck recently. It doesn't mean that they haven't been, but just I haven't heard any reports of it. I imagine they are well grounded and set up to endure some of that. With the altitudes that they're sitting at, some of them, it's surprising that they don't get hit more often. Back to net control. Hey, thank you for the question, Lanier. AA0JK.
All right, thanks there, Fred, for the follow-up on all that there. Yeah, the club could have some. Let me form my thoughts on what I was trying to say there. But yeah, the technical committee reports, you could see those in the round table. They supposedly meet. Well, I don't know if they meet currently, but they do meet. When we were in person, they were meeting at the same time. The monthly meeting, the Elmers session, was occurring in the Jefferson County building that we met in. I don't know if they meet currently remotely, but yeah, there's Bill Rinker, W0TX is the head of that, I believe, and could answer a lot of questions on the maintenance at least.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've concluded it's not a real good idea to put a repeater up on a high tower above these gargantuous granary bins on a farm in the middle of a wheat field. I guess that's what that's where my question came from. Back to net, K0LPR.
W.
Comment.
I'd have to look it up, but I know that there's these big antenna arrays, these big contest stations people have, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, and I'd imagine it's kind of similar. But comment, AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Lanier, up there to the north, and probably a little bit over the horizon, but as flat as Nebraska and Kansas are. I don't know whether that you can hit that repeater that's up there. I don't remember the name of the town. But there's a club, a group up there to the north. I wish I could remember what the name of that town is. But that would be an excellent resource if you were able to access that. And naturally, only the antenna is going to be up there on top of the silo. But the big question would be also the metallic nature of a lot of those silos, just how that's going to affect the signal from your antenna. I'm quite sure there's going to be some interaction there. But that would give you the elevation, and the actual repeater unit would be down at ground level. And as long as your antenna is properly grounded, you'd probably be just fine. But that would be great. I looked last time we talked about you being able to connect with other hams in the area. I did a little research and looked up, and the only club or repeater that I could find was up to the north of you. And I'm going to have to reevaluate that and check back in my notes to find out what that frequency was that they are operating on. But it'd be worth a try if you could back up with a little bit of power in your transmitter and get a directional antenna and aim it up that way and see if you could hook up with them. Back to net control, AA0JK.
I just want to say thank you for all this information. Colby, Kansas, would that be the town you were thinking of? But that's south of where my home is.
No, I believe this was north of you. But does Carby have a group?
Yes, they have a group. I went to join their club. Turns out they sometimes meet for coffee at the college there and when I drove over there to the fireplace or firehouse, there was no meeting. It was kind of a waste of time and a little bit of a disappointment. So back to net, K0LPR.
Yes, that would be. That definitely would be a disappointment. But, yeah, I'm going to have to get back and check my notes to see what that little town was up to the north there. But I remember Kobe coming up there amongst the list there. In the repeater handbook, the ARRL repeater handbook, or else actually you can find it on the internet, of course, is where I was researching on that. So I'll have to dig out my repeater handbook and check that out again. Back to net control, AA0JK.
All right, thank you there, Fred, for the follow-up. AA0JK, this is a net control K1 DBC. Okay, unless Lanier or anyone else has anything else on that topic, or let me know. Go ahead.
JK?
Yeah, AA0JK, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, Lanier, did that Kobe group, did they have regular on-air meetings weekly?
No, they do not.
Okay, doesn't sound like it was very well organized. But, okay, keep us posted on what you find, and I'll see if I can't dig up my notes. AA0JK.
All right, sounds good. AA0JK and K0LPR. This is K1DBC. I guess what I was thinking about a little bit earlier was maybe some, I guess, more financial transparency. I don't think would hurt in knowing the finances of the club, too. I've seen some other clubs, the Edge of Space Science, EOSS, even before COVID, they were doing their meetings remotely, and one day they had a meeting and they had just brought up their checkings and savings accounts, just were flat out just open about their finances and willing to go into it. But yeah, I'd be interested to know as well. I mean, I guess a little bit more on that. Yeah, it is shared repeater sites. You do kind of lease from the property owner, and it's, I think the cost of the property is probably fairly low, but then yeah, you have the maintenance costs, and there's all sorts of things, and getting up to them, and in general, access to them is quite difficult, especially in our case too. So yeah, great question there. Yeah, I'll throw it out to the net. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, anything on what we've spoken about so far? Check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up to the net? Please call now.
CUC question.
Yeah, CUC, go ahead.
So this question actually comes up from listening to the net tonight. I was chatting with someone else who's also on the net, and we were talking about how audible, I guess, the volume of someone's voice coming through, and we're curious about how much the mic gain weighs on that versus how much the wattage that you're set to weighs on that. So anyway, I was looking for any advice because I've upped my mic gain to 7 from 5, and I thought that improved things, but I'm also transmitting at 0.5 watts. And I don't quite understand that relationship. So do watts increase the volume that folks hear you at on the other end? KF0CUC, back to net.
JK.
All right, great question there. Yeah, mic gain versus power. I mean, when you think about it, I guess a little bit. I mean, if you think about low power, like Morse code, I don't know. That's a good question. AA0JK, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, Daryl, I don't think you're going to find any settings there for gain for CW. But anyhow, no, power versus gain, two different things there. Your power, you just got to experiment and see how well you hit the repeater, and set your power accordingly. And then your gain, that's going to be pretty much, I think, have to do more to do with the radio that you're using. And once you get that set, I don't think you have any relationship there for the power setting. AA0JK, back to net control.
CUC question?
All right, thanks there, Fred. A0JK. Yeah, CUC, go ahead.
So just a quick follow-on to that. So I'm just curious, with the mic at 7, am I making into the repeater okay from your all's perspective? I'd appreciate any feedback. And the mic, well, I guess I should say the power level is at half a watt, and the mic gain is at 7. So I'd appreciate any advice on feedback on if I need to adjust either of them. Thank you again, and KF0CUC, back to net.
You're doing quite well, doing quite nicely there. So your mic gain is set just fine. It doesn't sound like you're overdriving. It sounds just fine. And you do have some white noise in there, and that just might be just a matter of location and antenna configuration there. But other than that, having just a little bit of white noise on your signal, you're doing just fine. AA0JK, back to net control.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I am not an audio engineer, and yeah, you can definitely get pretty deep into how an audio source works. I mean, just even outside of ham radio, it's all kind of very similar to what we're talking about here. Yeah, I really can't speak too much on that, but yeah, yeah, using half a watt, you're sounding pretty good. And yeah, as Fred mentioned there is some white noise in the background. I don't know, I guess maybe increasing the wattage, the power might both remove the white noise as well as increase your volume. So yeah, it just might be something you have to play around with. I guess, yeah, unfortunately in the analog world, there's no parrot like there is in the Brandmeister. Brandmeister, you can key up to a certain thing called parrot, and it'll retransmit back your audio, and you can kind of do a self audio check. So yeah, good question there. Anyone else or anything else on that CUC or anyone else? Go ahead.
CUC?
Yeah, KF0CUC, go ahead.
So I have up to 2.5 watts middle power. Does that make any difference back to net KF0CUC?
Yes, it did.
TRP?
Perfect. Yeah, that 2.5 watt up jump there works great. Yeah, remove the white noise in the background and increase the volume, or at least made it a lot more legible there. So TRP, N0TRP, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, this N0TRP, just tip, one thing that was real helpful for me was to be able to hear the signal on the YouTube broadcast that you're doing, Jerome, so that if anyone wants to hear what they sound like, just go and listen to the YouTube broadcast, and it gives you a pretty good feel for it. N0TRP, back to net.
N0TRP, this is K1DBC. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was one thing I was going to mention too as well. I am located in Inglewood. I have a pretty good line of sight to the repeaters. It is just one source you can check. There might be some other, maybe some software-defined radio signals out there that you can look up on like WebSDR or something, but this is another great tool to use if you're ever listening to the air, at least when I'm broadcasting on YouTube. You can check your signal there. And check the quality. So yeah, thank you for that, Jim. TRP, K1DBC. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I guess outside of having somebody broadcasting on YouTube, I'm trying to think of how you would listen to your signal. I guess maybe, yeah, like I was mentioning, the other option would be using like something like WebSDR. If you go to websdr.org, I believe is what it is, you can bring up different software-defined repeaters And there might be one in the Denver metro area that you can bring up and kind of listen to your signal from there as well.
CUC?
Yeah, Doug, thanks for the net, and we'll see you next week.
'73 is Charles.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control there. KF0 CUC, go ahead.
Just wanted to say thanks for all the advice on that. I did not realize that watts didn't tie in at all. I'm glad it cleared up the background noise. So I guess it's just down to mic gain. So excellent advice and information. I think that clears up all the questions I had. So thanks again, JK and everyone else. Back to net and clear for me, KF0 CUC.
All right, KF0 CUC, this is K1DBC. Yeah, sounds good. Yep, you kind of just have to play around with audio settings and just check into it and kind of see what's going on there. So, and then yeah, online we had a late check-in here. K0SUM, Jonathan, thanks for checking in. You know, I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to take official check-ins. Let me drop here just for a moment. If you have just tuned in, this is Daron, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help, and Elmers giving their time to help us. Everyone is welcome to join. If there's anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using IT Phonetics if you can, your name, and state if you have traffic or questions for the net. Again, also, we're taking check-ins online. We had one here, K0KPS, Kevin. Again, youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you just do a search for W0TX, you can check in on there. But I'll go ahead and throw it out to the net. Anyone on the air want to check in, please call now. All right, another call. This is K1DBC Net Control. If anyone wishes to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, it's just a general Q&A, just a general conversation about electronics, ham radio. If you have any comments, if you want to check in, any questions, projects you're working on, or just for the count, go ahead and check in now with your name, call sign, and let us know if you have any comments or questions. Please call now.
K0SUM, comment.
Question?
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. There was a double jar. I had SUM, K0, SUM, Jonathan with a comment or question, and there was another person with a comment or question in there. What was that other call sign there? Go ahead.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 0 Delta Lima Whiskey with a question.
All right, KF0DLW, Daniel. All right, I'll go ahead and throw it to you first, Daniel. KF0DLW, go ahead.
I was just curious as to what repeater I'm transmitting to.
Good question. It could be one of two. You're either transmitting on 144.8, or let me bring this up here.
Well, I'm showing 145.490. Is this actually going to Idaho Springs?
So yeah, 145490 is one of the repeaters. It's also linked with 448625. That is on our Centennial Cone Mountain. So it is it's up on a pretty good peak. So it might be. Where did you say you are from once more?
I'm in South Aurora.
Okay, so yeah, the repeater is over near Genesee Park, just a bit north of Genesee Park. So I-70 and Genesee, I think, is what their chief host says as well. So it has quite great coverage. If you look on this belongs to W0TX is the call sign. If you go to the website W0TX.org, there's not only a repeater listing, but there's a repeater coverage map which should show the coverage for that. Yeah, and it goes from it's quite goes almost to Sterling, basically. Good coverage into Fort Morgan, down into Monument, up into Wellington, Fort Collins area. So it's quite wideband coverage.
Okay, back to net.
Great question there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if anybody's ever interested in where our repeaters are at and kind of the coverage that they have, we have some repeater coverage maps, and you can see, because of the Rocky Mountains, we have some pretty awesome coverage to the Denver metro area. Okay, KE0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan with a comment. Go ahead.
Hey, Drone. I'm a late check-in. Sorry about that, but had to throw out one of the most fun things I've been doing as a ham radio operator is this Saturday. There's a fox hunt going on in the Littleton Lakewood area. All you need is a tech license. Actually, you could technically play this without a license at all. An HT directional antenna would help. Attenuate help a little more, but it's a lot of fun, and anybody can play. Starts at 9 and runs usually till around noon or so, till the last person's come in. But had to throw out that the fox hunting is way fun to get out and play some ham radio. KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, Jonathan, KE0SUM. This is K1DBC. Is that still with that Robert Polson gentleman, N0CFM?
That is correct. N0CFM, Robert. I should know his email. But you look him up on QRZ if you wanted more information. If you drop him a line, he'll put you on the list.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you can check up on his email on qrz.com. Again, that's November 0, Charlie Foxtrot, Mike, Robert Polson. Foxtrot, yeah, it's a pretty neat thing there. So how now? I mean, when I think of fox hunts, I think of kind of just going out and searching for it like a geocache, like a hide and seek. You kind of find a transmit, you kind of find the transceiver. But I think this is a little bit different. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. This fox hunt, you have I'm going to go ahead and say a main fox and then a micro fox. Now, the main fox could be put somewhere. At this point, it's usually put in the person's car or vehicle. So you're looking for a vehicle, and it can transmit from 1 to 5 watts. And then there are given boundaries. This hunt, the east boundary is Broadway here in Denver, and north boundary is Alameda, where Alameda catches C470 and goes all the way down south and catches Broadway again. So it's kind of a 10 by 10 area. So first you're hearing a tone. The main fox puts out a certain sequential tones. It's musical with the CW, Robert's call sign at the end. Reset. Well, then when you get close, the microfox is a separate transmitter, very small, putting out 15 milliwatts. And it puts out a different set of tones with CW afterwards. So when you get in range and you can hear both of those, you know you're very, very close. Once you find the main fox, then you get to go out and find, he's hitting the microfox, say, 500 yards away. And then you get out your directional antenna and attenuators and try and find the microfox. KE0SUM.
KB6CC.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, I really need to start getting into that. Thank you for more info on that, SUM. Yeah, it sounds like it's a combination of finding the main one and then finding the lower, the smaller one. So that's really, really cool. KB6CC, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just kind of lurk here in the background, but a quick question. Fox hunting has got a practical side. Has there been an EOS, Edge of Space group around here that sent up balloons and you got a team out tracking it with fox hunting to when it comes down? So kind of a practical and also fun application of fox hunting.
Yeah, KB6CC, Scott. Yeah, no problem. I got you checked in. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many practical uses for what that really is. It's training for a lot of things. Yeah, the Edge of Space Sciences, as I mentioned, you can find them on eoss.org. They do launch balloons with local schools and fly their payloads and then track it through exactly kind of the same kind of methods. And then, yeah, another one would be kind of some of the Ares groups you can be training for, like avalanche beacon finding. So, yeah, fox hunting is not only just a really fun thing to do, it really just gives you a chance and opportunity for good land navigation skills and training for public safety purposes and for really just a lot of things. So, yeah, it's really, really cool.
All right, carry on, KB6CC. Back to listening.
SUM, comment.
All right, no problem there. Yeah, KE0SUM, go ahead.
I wanted to clarify something. The main fox transmits for a minute and a half when you try to find the direction of that, and then it's off for 3.5 minutes, totaling 5. But the microfox does not transmit at the same time. It transmits also for 3.5 minutes and then off, or 1.5 minutes and then off. But they don't. They transmit on the exact same frequency. 146565 is what we use. But so you can hear them as you get closer. You hear the main one, and then suddenly you hear the microfox. So I wanted to clear it up. They're not transmitting constantly. You have to take your bearing. A lot of people use maps, compasses, etc., and to find the fox. KE0SUM, back to net.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I definitely need to do a little bit more research on that. Yeah, that sounds pretty like a lot of fun, that's for sure. I know another club in the area that does something very similar is the Colorado QRP Club. If you go to their website, coloradoqrpclub.org, they speak about they speak about fox hunts every week. It seems like, yeah, they have it seems like a weekly fox hunt. And yeah, they go into it, and yeah, that's just another opportunity there. So, yeah, really, really neat stuff. Thanks for bringing that up again. Anyone else on that topic of fox hunts or anything else you'd like to bring up at the moment, please call now. Yeah, one other thing here. I was looking at the ARDF championships. It's the amateur radio direction finding. This is took place in 2015 in Elbert here in Colorado, and so they just have some pretty good information there on this site homingin.com. I think it's probably it's all about art and science of radio direction finding. So homingin.com might be a pretty good resource there. So yeah, fox hunting, amateur radio direction finding. Those are kind of the key terms you want to look up if you're wanting to do a little bit more research on this. So very, very neat. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Does anyone else have any other comments, questions, anything else, or check-ins you'd like to bring up or for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net? Please call now.
Yeah, this is Kilo Foxtrot 0 Delta Lima Whiskey, just notifying the net that I'm signing off.
All right, KF0DLW, no problem. Thanks for letting us know. And know that that's definitely not a requirement for this net, pretty casual here. But thanks for letting us know. This is K1DBC Net Control.
JK with comment.
Yeah, AA0JK. Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, AA0JK. Yeah, there were some great photos there that I believe that you put on there of the solder project, the voltmeter solder project. Great looking project and some well done soldering done there on that board. So if anybody is interested in improving their skills at soldering and like to put together a kit, you have got a good one there that you posted. So there it is. That's it. But excellent looking project for anyone. There's those good-looking solder connections. That's the way they're supposed to look when you get done. But a very good project for anyone interested in just tinkering with some kits. AA0JK, back to Net Control.
All right, Fred, AZRJK, this is K1DBC. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I posted on our groups.io page progress on a kit that I had received a little bit back and just finally started to do it. And so it took about an hour or so, and I think it came out pretty good. It measures volts as I would expect, so I'm glad that the project worked. So yeah, this was the voltmeter soldering kit. It's about $25, and it comes with quite a few different parts, and it just a lot of fun and get honing your soldering skills. You can find more info on this on tindie.com, TINDIE.com. This is where you can actually purchase it from. It's the voltmeter soldering kit by Jim Heaney. And I've brought him up before. He's actually just a mechanical engineer, he's a mechanical engineering student. Let's see, did I post where he is from? Or industrial engineering student at Rochester Institute of Technology. And he decided to do a weekly PCB challenge. He was saying through the end of 2021, he's trying to challenge himself to design one new PCB-based electronics project each week. It'll be a great exercise. From his perspective for schematic capture, BOM, bill of materials generation, PCB layout, and electronics design and assembly. And so the result really is several different projects that come to you unsoldered, and you basically just go through the process of soldering. So he's learning and doing things, and so can we. So he has like a dice soldering kit and a CD4026 counter, an ambient logger, and then yeah, as mentioned, the voltmeter as well. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, and yeah, more info on groups.io /G/ham learning net, and yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, just going looking through the through the instructions here, the assembly. You kind of just follow the instructions. He set it out quite well. I don't technically know the order of operations when it comes to soldering. It seems like so far it seems like smallest to largest potentially, but it started with the resistors and then the diodes and a few more resistors, some capacitors, resonators, some more capacitors, voltage regulators, switches, LED, 7-segment display, dip socket, and a whole bunch more. And it actually came with another piece that I haven't put together. This is based on the Atmel MCU, so like Arduino basically. And so you can build it also comes with a board for the Atmega 382P, so you can actually take the chip out of the dip socket and put it into a new one. So there's another piece of this that I haven't put together yet, so you can reprogram the Atmega chip. So this is all hardware and software. So if you ever want to get into hardware and software electronics, this is a great opportunity. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Anyone else at the moment have any other comments, questions, anything we brought up so far, or any clarifications you need, or any other check-ins? Let us know. Please call now. One other thing I did put on there as well recently was how to, if you're ever interested in how to send email from your ARL.net address, there's a few ways to do it, and I just figured out the way to do it through Gmail, and yeah, so if you ever want to send email from your ARL.net email address, there is an option for you to do so. As long as you can currently receive email at that address, there are ways to do it through Gmail, through groups.io, and through Yahoo. So if you ever want to do that, that's an option. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Does anyone else have any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up to the net? Please call now. Okay, this is K1DBC. I can pass a couple of things here and then pass it back to the net. And we'll go from there. Let me drop here for a moment. This is K1DBC Net Control. So big news of recent, obviously, was our Martian landing. And over on my favorite blog is hackaday.com. They go into some of the engineering of the tech that goes into their helicopter, and they have a going over a recent interview on the IEEE Spectrum blog with JPL operations lead Tim Canham. So pretty interesting. So yeah, if you hadn't seen, there's really amazing footage of what Endurance has seen so far, and what ingenuity the helicopter might be doing. So yeah, more info on that, hackaday.com. Really, really cool stuff here. And again, I'm sure there's a lot more on the launch that applies to ham radio, all the radio communications and the delay and just all the different things. So yeah, there's a lot of cool tech, RF tech that they had to use for all the communications and a lot of the automation they did. So there's just so much stuff and ingenuity and technology that had gone into that.
W0 W0TX repeater.
Looking at another article here over on hackaday.com about Paul Taylor and how he opened up the lines of telecommunications for the hearing impaired. So this goes into a story or the history of engineer Professor Paul Taylor, born deaf in 1939, long before cochlear implants or the existence of laws that called for testing and early identification of hearing impairment in infants. At the age of 3, his mother sent him to train to St. Louis to live at a boarding school called the Central Institute for the Deaf. So he had gone on to help. After college, Paul became an engineer and, in his free time, champion for the deaf community. He was a pioneer of telecommunications devices for the deaf, better known as TDD or TTY equipment in the U.S. Later on, he helped write legislation that became part of the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2017 and died in January 2021 at the age of 81. So, really interesting article on kind of the backstory of TTY and TTD. Some news that broke today, I believe. We're always talking about how we should be thankful for the spectrum that we are allowed to use for free, essentially, the amateur radio waves, because of how costly it really is. So Verizon today, they've spent $45.5 billion to top the 5G spectrum bidders. So this is, I had this, I think it was like 2-point-something gigahertz, 2.7 gigahertz to 2.8 or 9 gigahertz. And so it's split up between Verizon bidding 4.5 billion, or 45.5 billion, excuse me, and then AT&T bids of 23.4 billion, and T-Mobile with a bid of 9.3 billion. So quite amazing that we're allowed to have and use the spectrum that we have and do use. So I guess that's use the spectrum that we do have, or we may lose it. So yeah, 5G, really upcoming thing too. And you know, people have some funny opinions about 5G sometimes, and you know, it's all just, you know, this is RF. This is all stuff that's been proven and it's been around us for years and years and years. So 5G is going to hopefully just provide better speeds, more coverage, and yeah, we'll see there. So is K1DBC. I'll drop for just a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I might have a couple more things, but does anyone else have any other comments, questions, any other check-ins, anything else we've spoken about so far, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Upcoming Virtual Ham Expo, QSA Today, hamexpo.com, more info. Again, that was QSO, Quebec, Sierra Oscar, Today, hamexpo.com. There is a cost to it, but they have quite a lot of things going on here. Let me try to bring up the speaker list here. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control. There is going to be plenty of talks given. The Keynote is going to be by November Alpha 2 Alpha Alpha. He's the new CEO of ARRL, David Minster. September 2020, ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio in the United States, welcomed David Minster as its newly elected CEO. He will share his enthusiasm for advancing amateur radio, and he'll be highlighting ARRL initiatives to engage and inspire this current generation of hams. Saturday, March 13th at 12 p.m. PST is going to be the keynote. This begins, it's going to be March 12th at 1800 PST. More info, again, QSO Today, hamexpo.com. Again, you can find all the speakers on there. A lot of good talks. Arduinos, amateur radio satellites. They're doing soldering workshops, so if you want to learn to solder, you can try to do that. A lot of cool presentations. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. There was one more thing here. Mastering the tricky job of soldering SMA connectors. So another article over on hackaday.com by Jenny List on the February 22nd, going into a review of a video of how, let me see here, Andrew McNeil is here to help, trying to show you how to solder SMA connectors. So really small connections. So, and again, on the soldering kit that I made, I should have a video coming out on my YouTube as well. So look out for that. But with that, I might start to wrap things up here. I'll throw it out to the net. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, late check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
W0FFC with a quick question.
Yeah, FFC, go ahead.
Where was the articles, or where were the articles that you were talking about earlier about the... about that, I've got 2 things going. The articles about the soldering kits?
Good question there. I have compiled a few links over on our groups.io page. If you go to groups.io/g/ham learning net, there's a message I put on there, progress on voltmeter soldering, and it has a few links for the person that created it and where you can buy that. A link to that groups.io is also on our W0TX.org webpage under the net listings for the Learning Net here too. So if you ever need a link for the groups.io page, you can also find it on the W0TX page. But again, once more, groups.io/g/ham learning net.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Sounds good. Okay. Any other check-ins, last minute? Probably start to wrap up the net here. So I'll take last call for any other check-ins, late check-ins to the net, just for the count. Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
I guess real quick here, over on the rtl-sdr.com blog, top post here, titled Engineer and Beauty Queen Zyla Foxlin sends an RTL, SDR, and Miss America crown to space in a high-altitude balloon. Pretty neat crossover there. Yeah, really, really neat. And then again, a little bit back what we were speaking about last week about a pan adapter. This is just a review of I think a $70 or $80 pan adapter that they reviewed. And again, you can use this to use a software-defined radio, a USB SDR, and your radio at the same time on the same antenna. And so, pretty neat review on that as well. I think with that, I might wrap things up. This will be the final call. Any other last-minute check-ins, comments, questions, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Thank you all for being here. If you wish to contact us with any topic suggestions or to set a date to act as Net Control Operator or Guest Elmer, you may do so via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com, hamlearningnet@groups.io, on our youtube.com/WEREGR8, or just on the air. Let us know. We're more than happy to help you out and do a net if you'd like to be net controlled or any suggestions. Yeah, let us know with any projects you're working on. Feel free to send us photos of your ham stations, your ham shacks, any projects, anything you want to for us to see. We'd love to see it. So with that, I will drop here for just a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We had a total of 19 check-ins. Thank you all for checking in. We'd like to especially appreciate our Elmers and the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. We invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. This all takes place online. You can find more info on that at W0TX.org. There's a Google Meet link that gets posted before the net, a few weeks before. And again, if you did miss the meeting, the presentation, or the Elmer session, I do have those recorded on the YouTube. So this past presentation was by Bill Thomas, W0TX Intro to Digital Modes. So if you missed it, you can view it over on YouTube. So if you have a smartphone, smart TV on your computer, you can go back and watch that, as well as our Elmer session that we had prior to that. So check those out online. Again, youtube.com/WEREGR8. If you search for W0TX, it should come up. Or if you search for my call sign K1DBC, it should also come up. Please join us next week, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. for the next Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Thank you all for joining me here this evening. Join us here. We'll see you all next week. 7-3 to all. Everyone take care. I am clear. All right, thanks everyone for joining here on the YouTube. Glad to see more people checking in here. So with that, you all take care.